I'm a massive fan of Gears of War, as I have been since the very beginning. But I have to be honest, something about Gears of War E-Day's campaign reveal at the Xbox showcase a couple months ago just didn't quite land right with me. It wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I just wasn't as fired up as I thought I'd be after seeing the first new Gears of War campaign footage in 7 years. Okay, 6 if we're counting Hivebusters. When I finally sat down to play E-Day's campaign, though, it took all of about 30 seconds to turn my tepid feelings into joyful smiles. My 1-hour preview, which covered the early parts of Act 2, featured plenty of everything that I want from and love about Gears of War. Marcus Phoenix, Dominic Santiago, lots of story cutscenes, a sweet mix of old weapons and new ones, including the origin story for a signature Gears firearm known for its sharp teeth.
Nice.
Some evolved gameplay mechanics, killer set pieces, new Marcus Phoenix one-liners,
Grab some ammo and take down anything with too many teeth.
subtle references to characters we know and love, and did I mention Marcus Phoenix saying and doing cool
Under fire!
I was so fired up by what I played that when I got hit with the demo complete screen, it actually hurt. I suppose the Coalition got the reaction it wanted from me because all I wanted to do was keep going.
Too easy.
And I'm now not only more fired up to finish Gears of War E-Day's prequel story than ever, but I'm also more confident than ever that, at least based on the small slice I've played so far, E-Day has struck the exact right balance of tried and true old stuff and compelling new stuff. Mild spoilers ahead for E-Day's campaign, so turn back now if you don't want to know anymore. Act 2 picks up with Marcus and Dom still in their civvies, scavenged Mark I Lancers in hand. They've arrived with fellow civilian-dressed COG soldiers Carter and Reyes at a makeshift command center with the mayor of Kelowna, whom they've no doubt rescued in Act 1. COG officer Colonel Trench and the mayor face off about whatever the heck is happening out there. You and I both know darn well what it is, of course, and how to best handle it, leading the angry colonel to yell at our heroes to get some armor on. And then awesome moment number 1 happens. Marcus and Dom suit up in their familiar COG garb, flanked by Carter and Reyes in the newly christened Bravo Squad.
Guess we're back to it.
And he might as well be speaking for players as well. My grin could not have been any wider. Venturing out into the city of Kelowna, we see ash raining from a cloudy sky and remnants of once proud buildings around us. This moment definitely harkens back to the destroyed beauty aesthetic of Gears 1. We soon find our way to the heart of this chapter of gameplay, a massive suspension bridge that raises and lowers in multiple sections in order to let large ships pass underneath it. All of that was in the before times, of course, before actual hell started erupting from the ground beneath the people of this city. We're making our way towards Oriya Stadium, home of the Kelowna Eagles thrashball team, where civilians are being routed to in the event of the citywide disaster. But we're gonna have to fight our way there. This straight-ahead bridge section certainly isn't the combat bowls we're used to with Gears, but it's a great way to warm up, not to mention climb up, meaning to get a feel for using E-Day's new verticality, i.e., you can now mantle up and over cover, including the cars that the Locusts are using to shield themselves. The Mark I Lancer, Nasher shotgun, snub pistol, and frag grenades all work exactly as you remember them. Gears of War's core combat has aged remarkably well over the past 20 years. However, E-Day introduces a welcome new evolution in the form of unlockable weapon mods. Each firearm has 4 total mod slots, and mods vary by weapon, of course. Every reloadable weapon, by default, gets the classic damage bonus if you nail a perfect reload. It's called Full Metal Jacket now. But there's a heck of a lot more than just that. For instance, the aforementioned Gnasher, which, yes, is still your best point-blank bet for turning low-level Locust drones into chunky-style soup, has an auto-pouch mod that automatically reloads the shotgun when you stow it, i.e. switch weapons. This also seems like a good time to mention the new tactical gear, which I unlocked at the very end of my demo build. You got to experience these in the Versus beta weekend if you participated. These are short-duration, 45-second buffs with a cooldown, and they also have unlockable mod slots, none of which were available in the preview. But even without the mods, the adrenaline injector immediately refills your health when triggered and also increases your damage dealt while decreasing damage taken. Choosing the Sonic Disruptor tactical gear, meanwhile, nets you a more defensive bonus, stunning low-level enemies in a cone in front of you, interrupting their attacks. With tons more of all of these left to unlock over the course of the campaign, they should add a welcome bit of personalization and gameplay customization to your playthroughs. Emphasis on plural there, because I'll be shocked if there isn't a new game plus available that lets you run the campaign again with all of your tactical gear and weapon mods available from the jump on higher difficulties. After battling our way up and across the massive All-Father's Legacy Bridge, including fending off a couple of boomers along the way and getting some reps in with the breach shot, last seen in Gears of War Judgment, we arrived at Oriya Stadium, where the COG was coordinating a stressful civilian rescue operation with lines of the city's residents waiting to be processed and allowed into the massive facility. We entered and caught up with the quartermaster, Russ, who took a liking to Marcus right away because he knew his father, Adam. He asked what Bravo's squad needed, and after Marcus complained about the bayonets easily breaking off of the Mark I Lancers, that's when one of the COG in our party set the chainsaw used to save Marcus's life in Act 1, as seen in the Xbox Showcase demo, right on the table. The quartermaster looks at the chainsaw with a twinkle in his eye, and yeah, you can probably see where this is going. Awesome moment number 2. Marcus and Bravo's squad get handed the first prototype Mark II Lancers with chainsaws built right in. Again, the smile on my face was almost Joker-like. We headed out from the stadium with the goal of getting across the downtown section of the city to the train station. It's here that awesome moment number 3 began to unfold. Environmental freedom. The linear path of the bridge we'd fought across had finally given way to a larger combat space. This seems to deliberately rein in Gears 5's huge open-world areas by instead giving you room to clear Kelowna streets block by block in whatever order and fashion you choose. It's a smaller-scale version of what we got in the last game, but based on my initial impression, it's a more effective one. In fact, I ran through the preview build again to take a different route through downtown Kelowna, and I'm glad I did. This approach also allows for higher hidden collectible potential because, yes, of course, there are collectibles in a Gears campaign. I also enjoyed the optional secondary objectives in this section that you can opt into. In one, a family was trapped inside a convenience store, and I had to fight off a wave of wretches before finding a way inside to free them and radio in to get them an escort to the stadium. This was also when E-Day introduced supply caches, which will be scattered throughout the city and allow you to change out your weapons and mods. It's an organic and straightforward way of letting you change up weapons on the fly without having to kill an enemy to get what you're after. The all-too-soon end of my demo came in the Octus Way train station. This was a pretty sizable combat bowl with 3 levels of verticality to contend with, plus a left, right, and center area of the room to be keeping an eye on, lest the Locust manage to flank you from the side or from behind. It was a frantic but not overwhelming fight. We didn't face off against the Corpser that was teased while we were clearing Kelowna city blocks on our way to the train station, meaning that encounter is no doubt waiting for us later. But Octus Way Station was a good chance to try out all of the weapons, thanks to the supply cache in the corner of the upstairs entrance, and rev up the Lancer's chainsaw for a few good old-fashioned locust executions. Once I loaded up and stepped out of the cleared-out train station, that's when I got the aforementioned demo complete message and reluctantly put my controller down. One final note. As I mentioned, I ran through the preview twice on Xbox Series X, once on performance graphics mode, and once on the 30 frames per second quality graphics mode. The latter was not running well on Series X in the preview build. It wasn't unplayably bad by any means, but it was noticeably sub-30 in a lot of spots. I expect most people will opt for performance mode anyway, but it's worth noting and hoping that the Coalition is able to squeeze a few extra FPS out of it in the remaining few weeks of development. That minor complaint aside, I can't say enough about how much I loved what I played of Gears of War E-Day's campaign so far. Does it completely rewrite the rules of Gears? No, but I don't think anyone, myself included, is looking for that. Besides, this prequel was never about that. It's about getting Marcus and Dom back together and getting Gears back to its roots. And in the incredibly short slice I've seen so far, it absolutely accomplishes that with the highest of marks. I am now chock full of the hype that the Xbox Showcase demo failed to give me. In the words of Marcus Phoenix,
sweet.
For more previews of the biggest upcoming games, don't miss our recent looks at Tides of Annihilation and Marvel's Wolverine. And for everything else in the world of video games, keep it locked to IGN.